My name is Bob Newton, by the way. I'm Special Assistant to the President of Boston College and the Interim Director of the Church in the 21st Century Center. I have two responsibilities. First, to briefly describe the Church in the 21st Century Center, and secondly, to introduce a person whom I'm sure needs no introduction to this audience. The Church in the 21st Century Center was founded 9 years ago by Father Leahy, the president of Boston College, right in the middle of the sexual abuse crisis, and was intended to be a resource and a catalyst for the renewal of the church. We're focused on 4 issues. We don't do everything, but 4 issues, the 4 focal issues: handing on the faith, relationships and sexuality in the Catholic tradition, roles and relationships in the church, and the Catholic intellectual tradition. Since the inception of the center, we've hosted over 350 events in the past 8+ years on campus. We've had more than 50,000 people come to the Boston College campus to participate. We've welcomed over 350 outside scholars and presenters. We've developed a robust, technically up-to-date website that makes all of our on-campus program available to off-campus audiences through video stream presentations. Our website has had hits from 132 different countries. We publish a magazine entitled C21 Resources, and if you don't get it, you ought to sign up for it. Each semester it's on an issue that's important in the Catholic Church, and it's presented both in print, and we'll send it to your home, and also in PDF form on our website. The current issue is on, whoops, I picked the wrong one. This is last year's, The Vocations of Religious and the Ordained, which was last year's spring issue. This fall's issue is on the Eucharist at the center of Catholic life. And a cognate issue will appear in the spring, Catholics, a Sacramental People. We've published 16 issues of this since the beginning of the Church in the 21st Century Center, and it's distributed to 160,000 people. This semester's issue, we had 2,000 requests for additional copies, so it's quite a successful venture. And paralleling the theme of the semester are a series of on-campus events. The other thing we've done, and you can see some of them on the table outside, we published 10 volumes in a C21 book series, including a volume entitled Voices of the Faithful, which Bill D'Antonio and his colleagues at Catholic University developed from a survey of members of the Voice of the Faithful. So if you're interested in taking a look at that and purchasing it, it's outside. Let me now turn to my second task, which will be brief, is to welcome to Boston College an important figure in American Catholicism, whom, as I suggested before, needs little introduction to this audience. He is currently the editor-at-large of the National Catholic Reporter, where he has worked for the past 17 years. Before joining the NCR, he spent 10 years at the Religious News Service. As editor-at-large of this highly influential independent religious news source, he directs coverage of issues relating to the Church, as well as religious, political, and social issues that shape public policies and institutions. His work over the past months with the authors of this survey and today's commentators has been critical to the successful completion both of the survey and the development of this symposium. Please join me in welcoming Tom Roberts to Boston College and to the symposium, American Catholics, Persisting and Changing. Tom?
Good morning, and thank you, Bob. Welcome. There's a way to reduce all those years of journalism to a phrase that one of my children at a much earlier state in life said to me, and just offhand one point, he said, "Dad, you've been shoveling words for a long time." And I guess that about does it. The purpose today is to unravel and investigate the study, which is a fifth in a series of surveys of Catholic attitudes conducted every 6 years since 1987. We in the journalism world shy from ever using the word unique. I strike it from copy whenever I see it, unless somebody can really give me proof that it is one of a kind. But taking together this string of studies, I think gets closest to that word, or gets very close to that word. I don't know of any other like it, and I haven't been able to find anyone who can tell me if there's anything else like it that exists. It's a string of studies that comprises one of the deepest and most consistent portraits I think ever compiled of the membership of the nation's largest religious denomination. I think it's right and correct here to put in a pitch, too, for Catholic sociologists, whom I know can be a rather lonely lot at times. Often they deliver data and analyses that often don't fit the hierarchical narrative. One of the more famous incidents illustrating the point involved researcher Richard Shaner, author in 1993 of the book Full Pews and Empty Altars, a result of studies that he conducted in the 1980s, projecting a 40% drop in the number of active priests in the U.S. by 2005. History shows he had very accurate numbers. One cardinal, however, famously rejected the study as a fabrication of someone with a personal agenda. He denounced the data as nonsense, and there were letters flying about from bishops saying that this really wasn't a significant study. The cardinal thundered, "As disciples of Jesus Christ, we live by God's grace, and our future is shaped by God's design for the church, not by sociologists." Whether or not God is in the data of the current study, only time will tell, but there is much to be intrigued by, perhaps not a few surprises, and a great deal to ponder about the future of this community called Catholic. Our lead-off panelist will be Bill D'Antonio, and if you've covered the Catholic Church for any amount of time, you've run into one of the 8 books he's co-authored or tracked him down for answers to questions. In 1987, he accepted the invitation of NCR to carry out a national survey of Catholics. It was in anticipation at the time of the second visit by Pope John Paul II to the United States. The resulting study proved so popular to Catholics that another similar study was performed 6 years later, and then at 6-year intervals to this day. Bill is one of the modern pioneers of bringing sociology to Catholic matters. He was executive officer of the American Sociological Association from 1982 to 91, and in the past he's taught at Michigan State University, the University of Notre Dame, and today is a fellow at the Institute for Policy Research and Catholic Studies at Catholic University. Michelle Dillon is professor of sociology and chair of the department at the University of New Hampshire and the author of several books and numerous articles on religion, culture, and institutional change. She is president-elect for the Society of the Scientific Study of Religion, past president of the Association for the Sociology of Religion, and past chair of the American Sociological Association section on the Sociology of Religion. She currently is Tipton Distinguished Visiting Professor in Catholic Studies at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Mary Gauthier is Senior Research Associate at the Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate, known as CARA, at Georgetown University. A sociologist, Gauthier specializes in Catholic demographic trends in the United States, and she edits the quarterly research newsletter, the CARA Report, and other CARA publications. She has commands of mountains of information, seemingly limitless databases, and she is, I can personally attest, long-suffering with a non-sociologist journalist, and she knows the church from the ground up. Gauthier served as a parish lay pastoral associate for 6 years in Baton Rouge and received her doctorate in sociology from Louisiana State University. She is co-author of 2 books on sociological and demographic trends in the Catholic Church. NCR is just one of several partners in this effort, and we're very proud to be a partner, and also really proud to have to be the conduit for dispersal of this information. A grant provided by an anonymous donor was matched by the Rotondaro Family Foundation, the Rudolph Family Foundation, the Donegal Foundation, the Lugar Family Foundation, and by the Institute for Policy Research and Catholic Studies. On that last note, I must express special thanks to Institute Director Stephen Schneck and his staff for their support of the project in a variety of ways. And now to the real matter of the day, and I turn this over to Greg Smith, who's senior researcher for the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life.
Well, good morning. My name is Greg Smith. I'm a senior researcher at the Pew Research Center's Forum on Religion and Public Life in Washington, D.C., and it's a real pleasure to be here with all of you this morning. My own research at Pew focuses on religion in American life, kind of broadly understood, working on surveys with a focus on religion and politics. But my role here this morning is one that's new to me. I'm going to be the moderator for today's events. I'm a rookie moderator, so have patience with me as we go forward, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to say just a few words about the plan for this morning and for the day, and then we'll turn it over to the real heart of the matter, the research. We're going to start this morning with a presentation by Bill D'Antonio, who will focus on persistence and change in the Catholic landscape, looking back over the 25 years now of surveys that he has conducted. Then Mary Gauthier will share the survey's results on parish life and Catholic education in the United States. We'll take a short break after Mary's presentation, after which we'll hear from Michelle Dillon about the doctrinal belief and discernment among American Catholics. And then following Michelle's remarks, we're very fortunate to have with us Dr. Lisa Cahill, who will respond to the morning's presentations. Dr. Cahill is the J. Donald Monin, S.J. Chair of Theology Department here at Boston College, where she's been a professor since 1976. Dr. Cahill is the author of several articles and books, including Sexuality and the U.S. Catholic Church, Crisis and Renewal, with John Garvey and T. Frank Kennedy, and which is part of the Church in the 21st Century Center's book series. Following Dr. Cahill's remarks, we'll have some time for questions and answers, and then we will break for lunch. It's going to be an exciting and stimulating morning of discussion. I know I'm looking forward to it,